Hi everyone, welcome back to Secret Studio. My name is G and I'm super excited about the guest that we're going to have on today. Our guest has actually brought in a session that we're allowed to show, and it's a really big record. He's produced it, he's mixed it.
Mix engineer and producer out here in LA. Work with Dolla, Ye West, Dua Lipa, Meek Mill, mostly rap and pop music that I produce and mix in Pro Tools.
When did you first kind of become familiar with kind of Pro Tools, and how did it kind of help you towards your journey of mixing also records like this?
Yeah, I first got into music producing with Reason.
Mm-hmm.
And shortly after, I found Pro Tools, and I just thought it was like the coolest thing. I got a 003. I don't know if you remember that. I'm that old. Yeah. But yeah, Control Surface. Just Pro Tools, the way it sounded. At the time, I didn't really know how it sounded, but doing this years, there's no other way to get the mix to sound as good as Pro Tools can make it. The automation, the best automation in my opinion. Yeah, very easy to use, and the plugins like Avid Heat. I never really got into it, but lately, it's one of the best plugins. Yeah, it's so easy to just put it on everything and instantly your track just sounds way better. Yep. So Avid Heat I love, and yeah, I just love the headroom in Pro Tools, and just sounds so clean, and can make everything hit real hard, and just gets it the closest to how I want to hear my music produced and mixed.
You actually build a very close relationship with, probably, would you say, Dolla the most?
Yes, lately. Yep. I started out with DJ Mustard.
Oh, wow.
I was his engineer. Like I said, I started off producing my own, but then I went to school for engineering, and I started engineering for Mustard like every day, and learned a lot doing that, and I got a chance to mix a lot of big records. And I also got introduced to Ty also, and started mixing the records that Mustard had produced for him. And we just kind of built a relationship, and I like working with Ty because he appreciates my craft. He recognized the work I did with Mustard. He loved it. Obviously, Mustard did big hits for him. Yeah. And he kind of just took me on, and I think I've mixed maybe like 3 or 4 albums for Ty. So yeah, started out Mustard early on in my career, and then it just presented me with a lot of opportunities to branch out, and yeah, locked in with Ty, locked in with Meek Mill. I mixed his last 2 albums. So yeah, rap music and R&B music is my forte.
How has like Pro Tools like helped you along your journey? From, obviously, would you say you was kind of more the bedroom side of it when you were kind of early on?
Started in my parents' house with they actually bought me Pro Tools. Yep. Back then
with the Mbox
with the Mbox 2 or whatever it was back then, and so yeah, I started that, but then I was doing home studio vibes in Florida, but like I went to a real studio with SSL and with Augsburgers, and my mind was blown.
I want to go into the session today.
My friend Weston played this guitar loop, you know, parts reversed in the front. Basically what I did, I just sped it up a lot. You know, typical, the West Coast tempo is like 100. This was real slow at first, like 60. So we just sped it up, and then we started adding drums to it. Probably start with 808. And then, yeah, we did the track in FL Studio, but once we brought it into Pro Tools, we have a couple EQs here, which typically I really don't do this, but for some reason, I felt like we needed to, that 200 area, it needed to cut through more.
Just a quick one. I just want to ask. So I know a lot of people say like, you know, you said like you wouldn't really do this.
Yeah.
And I just want to like really go on like, because obviously a lot of people go out there, they watch a lot of videos and they start copying the engineer and what they're doing. I just want to like tone in a little bit on like the fact that everything is specific to the track.
Totally. For whatever reason, you know, it could be the key of the song, it could be the notes that you're playing, but if you copy this and you put this on your 808, it's gonna sound crappy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So for whatever reason, this one had a lot of low, you know, 30 hertz, you know, low B or C note on the 808, and I was listening to other music, and I was like, oh, let me just get a little lower mids in this 808. So then I use this Fab Filter EQ to do that. And it also is taking out a little bit. It's taking out a little bit right here underneath like 30 hertz. That's super low, which usually I love and I still love, but it just had too much, and it was, you know, this is kind of a pop song, you know what I mean? It's a pop rap song.
Right, okay, yeah.
So it's got to be heavy hitting, but at the same time, it's not, you know, like just an underground rap song. It's kind of commercial, you know, has Post Malone and stuff. So, and then it's basically the rest of the sounds.
Wow.
Clap, big white beats, hi-hat using the flanger and FL Studio for that. Ty's vocal here.
Go up, get loud, get right here and now. Yeah, tell me who tryna go?
Yeah,
who gon' drop it down
pretty straightforward. Just basic deverb on the vocal.
Yeah.
For the reverb.
And do you like? So how do you do your kind of when you're doing like not your template, but setting up your session, right? You kind of send all your vocals to like a vocal verse, and then add throws on there, and
kind of. It depends how many vocals I have. I try to keep it as simple as possible.
Yeah.
Because I've gotten a lot of sessions that are overcomplicated. And I feel like when you have so many complicated buses going into buses, if you're trying to do something on the actual track, it's going through 3 different multi-bands and all this stuff.
Yeah.
You can't even hear half of what you're trying to do. So I try to keep it very simple. And then when I'm in the mixing stage, I will put an aux for all my vocals, but I typically won't even put anything on it. It's more of a, if I want to just mute all the vocals real quick, I could just easily do that.
Yep.
You know, but I do a lot of automation and a lot of throws and stuff off of the track. This one has an aux, and you'll see here that there is some automation here. There's volume automation here clearly, but there's also like the delays and stuff that you hear in the song, and this is a black hole. So yeah, I do stuff like that to get my automation.
How was the process from kind of production into kind of Pro Tools recording and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, you get the basic beat in FL Studio, and then after we did it, we ended up adding like this flute, for instance, and then we added that for like the hook, you know. But we did that after in Pro Tools, and then even from there we did more mixing in here. So like 5 and 6 is like the flutes, so we had like an aux with that flute on there, just doing some little slight EQ stuff, adding a little widener for the sound stereo image, and then all that stuff would go to like a master, which has like an EQ on it, boosting the high end. And this is something I'll probably do in FL with like the stock FL plugins. But when you bounce the stems, it doesn't go through the master, so I kind of just recreate that high end shelf, and added a couple like a limiter, something like that. Also, just to kind of glue the beat together slightly, you know, no compressor or nothing like that. And even the limiter, when it's hitting, no more than 0.5 dB. You know, it's more to just slightly bring it together and make the beat loud enough to blend with the vocal. So here's the vocal master here too, you know. So I usually have like a master vocal with some plugins. This one has plugins on it, but I try to leave these blank as long as I can. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, maybe it needs a compressor for all the vocals or something, then I'll put it. But a lot of times you don't need to have too many plugins, you know.
Keep it simple, and simple is great.
So the simpler it is to me, it's just easy to get the sound that I'm looking for.
Yeah. What advice do you have for kind of, you know, the new creators out there, those kind of looking to get into production, you know, they want to get their first kind of interface and first door and stuff like that, you know?
Experiment on your own a lot, because there's so many resources now with so many people telling you to boost this frequency and cut this frequency and compress it like this and do it like that. And now they have the waves thing where it automatically, you know, does a whole vocal change for you. But I think that stuff is a little harmful at the end of the day, because you need to understand what you're doing, every process. Like, there is no rule of compressing in a certain way. You got to just train your ear to be able to understand, oh, I want a fast release on my vocal so it could pop out, or maybe it's popping too much, slow it down, you know? But I think it's just about developing your own identity and not I mean, obviously, I watched Pensado's place my whole career.
Yeah.
And I've been mimicking a lot of things I've seen, but I also took the time out to make sure that I personally think that's dope. Not because Dave said
right,
it.
or someone
you know
else.
what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it's like,
obviously everybody has a different ear. So you can't please everybody.
Right.
You gotta just please yourself.
Yeah.
And hopefully other people will enjoy it also, you know.
Perfect, James. Well, look, thank you so much,
Yes,
man.
sir.
Appreciate it. That was amazing.
Thank you for
thank
having
you
me.
once again for showing the spice.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, James. And everyone, we will see you soon. Thank you.